Well, the greatest train that ever run down America's railroad track was the orange blossom special, bringing my baby back. From New York to Miami, you could see them drivers roll, but the orange blossom special don't stop Waldo anymore.
Hey everyone, it's Lydia, the TallyStitcher, back with Flosstube 10? Are we at 10 now? Double digits. I think our last Flosstube was April 17th, according to my phone. So we've had May starts, we've had other stuff. We've got cats trying to come visit. I'm trying to show y'all everything, but I even have my planner out to see what I worked on, because I've noticed that even though I tell y'all I'm gonna finish something, I don't. I start something else and then something else and then something else. Anyway, so welcome back if you are a subscriber. Oop, I just bumped all y'all. And then welcome if you're new. This is a Flosstube channel, so I mostly cover cross-stitch projects that I'm working on. I design cross-stitch patterns, as well as work on a bunch by some famous folks, and sometimes from some out-of-date stuff, and I'm still finding my identity as a Flosstuber because I'm a very new cross-stitcher. I've only been doing it for about, 6 months now. My husband also cross-stitches, and he's a crafter. He's been big into knitting lately. He kind of taught himself how to knit earlier in the year, so I usually show progress on his works as well as mine. My poor little kitty is trying to get to her pillow, which I have covered in cross-stitch stuff, so she's kind of like, Mom, what are you doing? But yeah, so we're going to show some whips, we're going to show some starts about Maynia. I've also got 2 new patterns that I've finished, and I'll give you some behind the details on those as I get to them. Let's start with the husband's whips and finishes. So he finished, not last night, but the night before, he finished his first sock. So if y'all have been tuning in for a little bit, you'll see that he's finished his first hat earlier in the year, and he has since made 3 more, and then he moved on to socks. And so he's cast on a couple, and he's kind of getting his feeling for like what he likes in terms of needle size, heel methods, length, or whatever. So this is the first one that he finished. So he'll start working on the second one of this whenever, because he's already cast on something else. But and I'll put the details of the yarn and stuff on in the description once I get them finalized from him. Sorry, I'm trying to keep cats from eating stuff. Hey. Goodness gracious. Anyway, so this is his first sock. It is kind of this lovely mottled gray with pinks and purples, super neutral. It fits him. It doesn't fit me. It doesn't have a ton of stretch into it. And maybe I just didn't fuss around hard enough. I'm really trying to see what my cat's doing. But yeah, so he started this. I think he did this on circular needles for the most part. Maybe some double point needles came into play. I'm not a knitter, so I'm only learning some stuff as I watch him learn. Still watching the cats to see. Oh, they're about to fight. Great. So if you hear nonsense, it's because I've got 2 cats and they're always running around. Anyway, so yeah, this is his finish of his first sock. He's going to make a pair for this. He's going to make a pair for me. He's adjusting the pattern for what the pair he's going to make for me, because he knows that I was like, oh, I don't know if I can fit into this sock. Or like, I didn't try. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at this little girl. That's the cat that does not like to be picked up. She's not a lap kitty. She's doesn't like to be held, but she is very affectionate. She wants to be by you all the time, but that's Cora. And then Giuseppe is the other one that you've probably seen me hold. Anyway, we're already off to a good start, aren't we? And so yeah, so that's his finish. He actually started working on a shawl last night, so it's like this big. So I'm not gonna pull that out. But it's very lovely. If you follow him on Instagram, he's Metal X Stitch. He posts updates there of his stuff. His other work in progress that y'all have seen before is ink circles, little comparatively small ship of life. He's already at the bottom here. So he's got to the ship. You see the bow of the ship there, I guess. He finished that little dude. That he put pants on that guy last night. So this is on natural linen with DMC 666. He plans to do all of the red ships of life from ink circles in the same colorway. They just get larger and larger. So this is the smallest one. And he says he wants to knock out kind of there's more little sea motifs down here before he's going to do the whole ship, like the body of the ship. He says he wants to try to do it in one go. So I don't know if that's going to happen tomorrow, because tomorrow's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And we're going to be up at his parents' probably cooking. So we'll see. But he's who's killing this. He was making super duper progress, just knocking it out. And then he made Maynia plans. So he's been tagging his stuff, not only Stitch Maynia, but also Stitch Sania. We're both not doing, I just like, it's so cute. Okay. We're both not doing a ton of new starts. I think we're both starting one new thing a week, and then maybe like a bonus thing. So that's what I'm planning on doing. And I'll show y'all what I started. But what he started was something one of the things he bought the 666 for, because I think I've mentioned our cone of 666, but here he is. Our cone of 666. The big boy. This is so we can do literally anything ever in this. So we have to plan so many projects for this. And I have a project that is coming. I have the pattern for it. Hopefully the fabric gets here next week, and that'll be one of my starts that I'll be using with 666. But since that's kind of like a waiting on the shipping part, I'm not going to quite tell you what it is yet. So it'll be a half surprise, half not. Because the other thing I was going to start, that I'm still going to start on Memorial Day, I have all the stuff for that. So 666, big cone. And he bought this originally because he's going to do Long Dog Sampler's Pandemic. So he finally started that, got the pattern. I have to figure out how there we go. All right, so this is his start on Pandemic. And it's on 18 count black Aida. Sorry, it's kind of see-through there. Hold it to myself. Anyway, there we go. Let's get in there. So this is his start on Pandemic. Pretty much the fabric that he has is big enough to do it twice. He just bought a huge piece. And I guess this is probably all he's working on it this week. Maybe he'll work on it some tomorrow. But he had said he's going to do his starts on Sunday. So I'm not sure what he's starting tomorrow. I'll tell you what I'm starting tomorrow, because I just realized what I'm starting tomorrow. Yeah, actually I don't have it on me, but it's fine. Okay, so husband's Maynia start, Pandemic, 666. That bird's a crooked. Y'all, I'm holding this upside down the whole time. Goodness gracious. There we go. There we go. That's Pandemic. That's the way you hold it. Whew. This is my brain, y'all. So life update. Last time I mentioned how we're planning on moving at the end of the summer. So I've got a bunch of like balls in the air. And I was waiting to hear back if we could get our current lease shortened to be more in line with the market around here, which is very much based on the school cycle, because we are in a college town. So our lease originally, because I've been here for a long time, ended in October, which is kind of weird. But we wanted to move perhaps earlier because places become more available in like July and August. So I finally heard back from our leasing agency and we were able to shorten our lease. So that's good. So now we have a move out date, which is, but we need a place to move into. So, you know, it's going to light a fire under our butt to get everything packed and stuff. And I've been trying to get a hold of folks to tour places and view places, but it seems like you have to still call people instead of use their online info forms. And I'm a millennial and we don't use the phone like that. We don't call people. So I'm still whiffling and waffling about that. I've toured one place that was not what we wanted. Another place got leased like the day we were going to see it, which is kind of bummer. So just trying to get some things lined up to view and tour, and I'd like to, and so we can possibly move starting in July and just kind of have time to move between the two places and clean this place up and be in a bigger space, because I've been here for 8 years and it was it was getting tight for a person and 2 cats, and then, you know, my husband moved in and now it's real cramped because, as you can tell, all of our hobbies involve a lot of supplies. So yeah, that's exciting, and it also means that my brain's like blah, 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 blah. We also just finished for those of y'all that are new, I work in the museum field, and we administer a huge state contest, and that just finished up. So even though it was all virtual, my brain is still a little bit of Swiss cheese. So that's fine. Swiss cheese is tasty. So, okay, let's go back to my whip. So I checked my planner to make sure I knew what I'd shown y'all before and what I'd worked on since. Is it behind me? Oh, I was going to show y'all my planner, but I don't know where I put it. Anyway, I keep track, at least when I work on stuff, by day. I really don't know where I put it. Oh well. So you hadn't seen my progress, my tiny bit of progress on my modern folk embroidery, which has since been rolled up and put away. I'm still working on March's piece. I have not stayed up to date on this, but I still wanted to show y'all where I'm at for March on my modern folk embroidery stitch along. Woo! So there we go. The one that you can see that's obviously not finished is the March piece. It's getting there. I'm almost done with the main motif, and then I would go in and add that kind of reverse work at the bottom in the darker DMC. This is done in DMC 3771 and 3776. I'm not sure which one's which, and it's on what they call chocolate raspberry, and this is actually very true to color right now, what you guys are seeing, which is great. Here's the whole piece. So yeah, I'm not sure when I will even catch up on this. I was thinking about maybe focusing on catching up on stuff in June, maybe, so after Maynia. And then for July, the only plans I had was to work on a big, I would say the wrong designer. It's a big 12 Days of Christmas with Santa Claus. And I didn't know yet at the time. I had planned to do it anyway as I was starting all of this. But I didn't know there was actually a phrase for working on Christmas stuff during July. And people call it Jolly July. So for Jolly July, I'll be working, excuse me, on some of that guy. So maybe in June. But we'll see, since we have like moving stuff and all this different stuff. And I have my next program that I spearhead starts in July. So we'll see. We'll see. I also had, I think everything else now is like a new thing you will see. So these are new projects. No, I lied. You saw this before, which I still haven't finished. This is a part of the, so Whataburger released a free cross stitch pattern, and I love Whataburger. I'm fixing the needle. That's what I'm doing down here. I love Whataburger. So I wanted to call this the Whata-Sal. It's actually near, well, I still have to do all the French fries, but this is where I'm at on my Whata-Sal. I've had 3 French fries. I finished the fry box here. This is done in some, you know, I grabbed some JP coats that I had, just started stitching it on a random piece of Aida. This is like a piece cut off from a different project, so I can't even do the full design that they gave, which has like a little ring of flowers. I'm gonna edit it. I'm gonna put my personal spin on it. But this was a spontaneous start, like most of my things are. And I added this line of back stitching around the whole fry box because the way they designed it was maybe leaving this white, and then they put in like tan all around it. So like you would fill this whole thing with like a tan. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I put the border around there, started working on the French fries. I think the tallest French fry goes here, and then it's a lighter and a golden color. And then I'll figure out, she's trying to sit in her little pillow. Oh my goodness gracious. There you go. All right. Okay. You good? Okay, so Miss Cora's trying to take over her couch again. No, ma'am. Madam. She's starting a pandemic. Okay, are you good now? She's a little princess. So, yeah, Whata-Sal. I don't know if I'll finish this either. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? Who knows when anything will be finished? I wanted to finish something for y'all last night, and that didn't happen. And so I was like, oh, I'll finish in the morning. That didn't happen. It happens when it happens, I guess. Whata-Sal. This is a free pattern you can find on Whataburger's website. If y'all just Google Whataburger cross stitch, it pops up. Yeah. So there's that. Okay. Sorry, she made me like rearrange all the stuff so she could sit on her pillow. Okay. So I had one other random start that I did not show y'all. Y'all saw it. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw it. It doesn't look like anything. It looks a little bit more like something now. So it barely looks like something now. So I'm a huge Frank Lloyd Wright fan, as I'll show y'all later. My capstone for my master's thesis was done not specifically on him. It was on a local family who had a house commissioned or designed by him. So that's up the road. And it's a beautiful place. I will eventually make a pattern for it, but I did the research on the family and kind of their work in the community as civic activists. You know, they were advocates for civil rights, for artists, for, you know, environmentalism, all sorts of stuff. But, so I follow like all the Frank Lloyd Wright stuff on like Instagram, and this thing popped up, and they were like, oh, this is great for Mother's Day, go buy this. And it was a pattern. Well, it's a design that he did for some magazine covers that never got published. So there's a series of these designs. They're not his like stained glass designs. They're just other paint works. And so they've started using them in different things. And there actually is a kit for this that's sold out. So I wasn't able to get the kit for this pattern. And there's also like an adapted pattern someone's done on Etsy. And so I'm looking at it and I'm hemming and hawing. Do I want to buy that pattern? And I'm like, it's just not as detailed as the original print. So I have the original print, not like on my person, but you know, I have a very good digital download of the original print. And I'm like, I'm just going to freehand this. I'm going to freehand this Frank Lloyd Wright print because I feel like it. And we had got this random piece of fabric with that DMC cone. It was when they were giving away free fabric. So I was like, I'm going to do it. We have free fabric. I didn't want to work on anything else. I don't know. I'm crazy. So this is, the design is called May Basket. If you look it up. So I used just kind of eyeballing the pattern and looking at some ratios, and you'll see the blue marker outline that'll rinse off, and that's what the bulk of the structure is. But here's my start. So this is like a creamy 16 count Aida that they included. So it might be a little difficult to see, but see the triangle in the middle, the inverted triangle? So that's the basket part. And then it's all of these colors and, you know, super saturated and yet somehow muted Frank Lloyd Wright colors. That's kind of how he worked. So he did, in his buildings, he usually didn't use a ton of color. He used Cherokee red, which is his signature color. And then he used the natural materials surrounding the place. He liked to make concrete out of natural bits and pieces, but his stained glass is very beautiful. So this reminds me of that. And I just started noodling around. That lower triangle is a big hunkin' bit of orange, and then the other ones, 4 of them end up being orange, and then the middle one ends up staying kind of blank. But it has all, when you get to the top here, which is nothing obviously, it's the geometric, they're not even flowers. Like this bit looks like a ribbon, and there's some like baubles that look kind of like grapes, so like those little yellow bits. So I don't know what he was doing. I felt the need just to try to chart it freehand, and that's what this is. I'm not gonna release it as a pattern or anything because I'm just doing it for funsies, for super funsies, just to see how detailed I can get it compared to the original. So not a ton of work on that. I would just pick it up, noodle around on it. The reason the bottom triangle looks like little worms is because in the original, you know, whether it's the original or it's the way that the file has been uploaded, there's some variegation, very subtle variegation. So I was like, all right, well, I'll do some blended threads to try to get the subtle variation, and then I'll also try to vary it by just noodling around. And even though there's like 3 different color oranges in there, they're all so close that you can't really tell the difference. So I'm just filling it in, and the other ones I'm just going to fill in just like that. So May basket, no pattern. The original designer is Frank Lloyd Wright. Yeah, so that was a spontaneous start sometime end of last month. So who knows when I'll ever pick it up again. Now for my Maynia start, I finally got to start Carolyn Manning's Desert Dawn. So y'all have seen the fabric for this, y'all have seen the pattern for this, y'all have heard me talk about this since like January. But it finally got started. So ta-da! Oh my goodness, I was so excited to start working on this. Let me see if I can get maybe there. That's pretty good. All right, so as you can tell, I'm doing it very symmetrically, and I also didn't have a couple of the colors, which happen to be the ones I needed to start with, but they're in the mail, they're coming. So this is a part of her, she has several series that she works in that are kind of like kaleidoscopic. So this is the Desert Dawn colorway, and it's very quilt-like. The fabric is it's called French Country. It's a very purpley neutral gray that I'm in love with, which is good because I accidentally ordered another piece the other day. I guess it was still sitting in my cart, and so it's another piece is coming, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. And it has all of like my favorite colors in it. It has these like dusty pinks and these purples and then these pops of teal, and I am in love. And I've been watching people do this, you know, on Instagram for months and months and months now. And every time they're always just like, it's so nice to work on. It's very meditative. And I as soon as I started it, I was like, yes, I totally get it. And I love watching it grow. It's kind of like a butterfly almost, like as I'm working down. So this is the very top center. So we've got a lot to go. And then I have just a couple of these little, I can't think of the word, park threads. I don't use a lot of park threads, but I use a couple. So that's kind of my technique. So yeah, I was very excited to start this one. I started this last Sunday. I was planning on doing my starts on Saturdays, but then come to find out I'm always busy on Saturdays. So last Saturday I helped my friend move into their new place, and then we had our new Pathfinder group, so it was very busy Saturday, so nothing got stitched on. But yeah, so I guess I have one more day to stitch on this if I want, and then tomorrow I'll have a new start. But in the meantime, this wasn't the only thing I was stitching on, because I finished 2 new designs. One y'all seen before, the other one y'all have not seen, except for when I've teased you about it. So let's talk about the one that, since we're still kind of Frank Lloyd Wright still fresh in our mind. Frank Lloyd Wright designed, well, he had designs for like 18 buildings, but 12 buildings, 12 structures were designed for the Florida Southern College in Lakeland, and they got built, and it was a meeting of the minds between Frank Lloyd Wright and the president of the university at the time, or the college at the time, and this is probably my first foray into what would become like a lifelong obsession with historic architecture. And I visited this place in 2010 for an undergrad project, and I just absolutely fell in love. And so it's been on my list, and true to point, true to something, true to form is the idiom. This was a difficult design for me to finish, to get it right, because to get it right, and it's Frank Lloyd Wright. Wow. Because it's out of the buildings. If you've never been to a Frank Lloyd Wright building, he designs them to be all sorts of shapes at all sorts of different angles, and so to capture some of the spirit of this, I had to really focus on getting the angle right, and I finally had a breakthrough. I just needed to get the colors situated, because I was like, all right, I'm starting this in May. It's going to be a Maynia. And so this is now available in the shop, in my Etsy shop, if y'all want to check that out. My Etsy shop is TallyStitcher Designs, and that link will be below. But this is the Annie Pfeiffer Chapel. And she's gorgeous, and I'm so excited to start her. And I think I had planned to start her next week, but maybe I'll start her tomorrow because I have all the stuff. So we'll see what I decide to start tomorrow. But she was on the list. So this is the Annie Pfeiffer Chapel. If you are interested in the pattern, when you get patterns from me, I have like a whole page of historical notes on the structures, because I'm a history nerd, and you can learn all about her and like the campus. But when I went, it was like a very rainy, moody kind of day in March, and it made it so all of the colors were super saturated on campus. Like all of the greenery was super green, and there wasn't a way to really render this with these squiggly bits here are my rendering of what he used in the structure, which was a concrete block that had a small like stained glass piece set into it, so you would see through the outside in, or back and forth. It let light in, and it was multicolored, so it's red, green, blue, and yellow. And so when you're inside, it's the rainbows are coming in. It was just amazing. It was amazing. Just look up pictures of people being inside of here. and visit if you can. If you're anywhere near Lakeland, Florida, you can go visit. You're allowed to go and see them unless they're like under crazy construction, but this one has been restored a couple times, so she's usually open. And yeah, so I was very pleased to finish this. The blue is just to give an outline for the piece. The pattern does not indicate the blue is charted. I'm doing it on blue fabric, but the pattern, you know, the chart is the building and some of this greenery down here. So this is just one angle of the building, kind of the iconic angle. From head on, she looks like a boat. She looks like a ship, which is a common theme in Frank Lloyd Wright's pieces. So yeah, very pleased to finish that. And so that's in the shop. And then also I finished another pattern in between time because I just do everything. And this is from a friend of mine who I've known for a while. I've known this guy since middle school, and we've kept in touch. I'm actually in touch with several friends from middle school because we all end up being pretty cool. And he owns a little shop in Helen, Georgia called the Mason Jar Shop, which I will link below. And we have been trying to figure out what we could collaborate on for a long time. Because I do a bunch of random stuff, as you'll notice. And he was like, oh man, I'd like to be able to, carry something or do something. Because he carries handmade, made in the USA. Most of it's local, but he's got stuff from other artists that we've kept in touch with that we went to school with. He's got that stuff in his shop. So finally, a couple months ago, he was like, oh, could you do perhaps patterns or kits of like local landmarks? And I was like, sure. Like, why don't you show me, give me some pictures. I've never been to Helen. Show me some pictures of what you consider local landmarks that you think would sell in the shop. And I was like, I don't know if I can do kits right now, but I can do patterns. Like, you could sell the pattern and I'll have the ingredients list available. And so he sent me a bunch of stuff. And this was the first one I started. I knew it would be the most iconic one. And this is a hotel that's apparently the most photographed hotel there. And it's the Heidi Motel. And it's just based on a little Bavarian like windmill. And this is a very light picture. So I'm not sure if you can see the windmill's sails, but they're in there in that very buttery yellow. But this is the Heidi Motel. And so I finished this last week very quickly, and I immediately had to, I think actually week before last I finished the pattern, and I've been stitching up the model for him. So I'm nearly done with that, and I'll show you all that in a second. But this is going to be kind of like an exclusive limited release at first. So you'll be able to get it from the Mason Jar Shop's website. The pattern, if you're interested in it, for X amount of time before I release it in my shop. That way we can drive some traffic, support small business. He'll have the model at the shop to have a talking point with his visitors as we kind of figure out what's popular, and if there's enough interest in creating kits for this. I have been keeping track on how much thread I needed for mine. So I've never put kits together. I'm not, we don't have the stash, the inventory for it, but it's a nice beginning project, working on collaborations with other folks. So yeah, so this is the Heidi Motel, and I'll show y'all where I'm at in stitching the model. I'm very close. It's been in 3 different hoops, y'all, because we keep needing hoops for other projects. But here she is. Here's the Heidi coming to life. So cute. Stitches up pretty quickly after you get, I started with the red and did the outline with the red, and then I did the tan, this darker stonework here, and then I moved on to the green accent, the blue, which is what the doors are, and then I'm going to finish off with the windmill in another buttery yellow. You will hear my cat just getting into all sorts of stuff. And I'll put the little Heidi Motel bit and I'll sign it. And then I'm sending this to him to be in the shop. So I'll get pictures of it to be prepared for whenever I release it in my shop. I haven't decided how long. It's going to be exclusively through him. So if you're watching this video in the future and I'm in the past, you can check my shop or you can check his shop for the pattern of the Heidi Motel. But yeah, so she's been stitching up really quickly. I've just been really busy. And so I imagine I'm going to try to get this done this weekend so I can get this mailed off to him. All the info on this will be down in the bar below. And I'll try to make sure I put a note that it's like absolutely available there. So yeah, so that is, I think that's everything, y'all. I think we finished. I feel like, well, we've got a little bit of haul. Of course we have haul. When do we not have haul? Can Can I find the haul though is the question. We had dinner over near Michael's, so I ran in. I was like, oh, I need another hoop, and you know, they ended up having some stuff on sale. So I know I've gotten this. This is like a 3-pack of just like pre-made canvases, cross-stitch canvases. They're probably 16 count, kind of in a natural. They were $5 for this 3-pack. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do on them, but it's kind of cute that they're already done. So there's some haul. Giuseppe's trying to help me show the haul. Something that was more exciting was I was thrifting with a friend several weeks ago, and we were, well, not several weeks ago, a couple weeks ago. And we were cruising around. I wasn't looking for anything in particular because I knew we were about to move, so I'm not trying to grab stuff. But I'm sorry about the wrinkling, y'all. The wrinkling and crinkling of the kitty cat. But we're cruising through this little thrift shop, and it's super cute thrift shop. And I get down to the back, kind of like towards the storage area, and I turn a corner, and lo and behold, if there isn't a floor stand with an adaptable attachment to take both hoops and hue snaps sitting on their little desk with a scroll frame sitting there for $15. You know, I grabbed that. I snatched it. I'm not gonna, it's like, currently, it's one of, well, okay, you see this little bit of wood here? It's over here, kind of tucked in with the other floor stand we have. But I was like, $15! And so I brought it up, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited, found this. And the ladies were like, yeah, that was actually really hard for us to put together, because I guess somebody donated it all in pieces. And if you didn't know there was a scroll frame in there with it, that would be a lot of pieces to try to figure out. So I thought it was a table stand, but I got it home, and my husband's like, no, that's a floor stand. You can tell about how big it is. And I was like, you're right. So I got away with, you know, what would essentially be like a $70 floor stand for $15. And it came with another scroll frame. We can't have enough frames around here, so that's going to be for one of our starts. Maybe the Debbie Patrick, whenever I start that. I'm not sure if I'm starting her tomorrow or if I'm starting the Annie Pfeiffer. Rude. It's getting time to the end of the video because my cat is knocking stuff over. Okay. Alright, so sorry this was a little hectic, guys. Maybe that's who I am as a person. Maybe we're just discovering who I am as a person. So, plans, new start tomorrow. I think I'm going to try to do a Flosstube, even if it's shorter, every week to show y'all the work of the week on the new starts. And yeah, so thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out. Now that I have a floor stand, I still am not super great at the double needle back and forth thing. I'm left-handed anyway, and so my right hand is just dumb. She doesn't know how to do stuff. So I tried both ways. I'm still working on it. But maybe in the future we can start doing stitch-alongs. So now that I have a floor stand, I don't have to worry about the other one being taken up by my husband. But also his floor stand only takes a scroll frame. So mine is like that much more adaptable, which I'm excited about. So yeah, so have a good week. I hope you're having a good Maynia or Sania, or also some folks are using the hashtag Mayfly to because Maynia can have some connotations for mental health. I haven't dove into that, but I understand the sentiment, and if anybody feels that Maynia is something that is bothering them, I got no problem switching hashtags, y'all. Like, let's start a new one. But for now, I'm still gonna call it Maynia. And like I said, I think I'm also hashtagging it Stitch Mania. So there's all sorts of stuff. So thanks for hanging out. I'll get this up. This was filmed on Saturday, May the 8th, and so it should be up later today. And yeah, so y'all have a good rest of your week. Have a happy Mother's Day. And yeah, I don't have a catchy little sign off yet. So thanks for tuning in. Bye now.
Well, just another bowl